I've owned these for too long. They either gotta stay because I love them or they gotta go. Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. If you are new here, please subscribe down below and give me a big thumbs up so that YouTube knows that you like my content. But today I wanted to be talking about 10 books that are going to self destruct in 12 months if I do not read them. So I had originally seen this concept from Becca in the Books and JD Ray Reads for quite a few years ago. I think they're on like each one of them is like on round 5 or 6 at this point, so they've been doing it for literal years. But I wanted to throw my hat in the ring of doing this because I have a very large collection of books that I typically buy from the thrift store of just things that I may think that I'm interested in and then never actually pick them up. So, to try and combat that, I'm gonna try and be good and not do 12 books in 12 months. I'll do 10 books in 12 months to possibly make it easier on myself to try and complete this. So, without further ado, let's go through the books that will self destruct in 12 months if I do not read them. The first book on this list is Empty by K.M. Walton. I did not buy this for myself. My little brother had this in his collection and didn't want it anymore. I don't know if he actually read it or not, but in the process of both of us moving out relatively at the same time, this ended up with my books instead of his. So it ended up on my shelves. I don't know why I haven't gotten rid of it as of now, but I don't even know if I still want to read it, to be honest, but I'm going to give it a try regardless. But this follows a girl named Dell who is just suffering from depression and just thinks that life is absolute, like, trash and terrible. So I think teenage me would have probably been more open to the message that's in this book. So I don't know if current me will be okay with this. But we'll see. Next is actually quite a popular book that was popular quite a few years ago, which is why I bought it, but never actually picked it up, which was 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott with Mickey Daughtry and Tobias Iconis. Um, but this ended up being a movie, so I know it was good enough to be picked up by producers or whatever to be made into a film, but I don't know if it's necessarily for me. Then again, at the time when I bought this, which is why I never picked it up, I wasn't necessarily into literary fiction or fiction containing medical things or whatnot. So I don't necessarily know if this will be for me or not, but I've heard really good things about the movie. I don't know. I'm up in the air about it. But this follows two teens who have the synopsis doesn't say what they have. Interesting. But their medical condition requires them to stay 5 feet apart at all times so that they can't give like bacteria to one another. It all has to do with like their lungs and just being able to breathe properly, so they have to stay away from each other. But they are both at the same hospital, and it's just like their love story, I guess, together about having to stay 5 feet apart. So I know that this is going to break my heart from the clips that I've seen of this movie. It's absolutely so sad. So, I don't know. I'll give it a try. Next is a book that I bought because when this book came out, I was like deeply in YouTube and watching YouTube videos. And this author is a YouTuber, or was. I'm not even sure if he still posts, to be honest. But it is Children of Eden by Joey Graceffa. I never even was able to say his name. Graceffa? I don't know. But this, I just was interested in it because it was like a sci-fi fantasy type, like utopian type book or dystopian type book. And at the time when I bought this, I was really into those. So I just never picked it up because I kept buying more and more books that I was more and more excited about. So we'll see if I end up picking this up. I literally know nothing about it other than the fact that it's like a dystopian, utopian type story. So we'll see if adult me agrees that younger me would have enjoyed this. Next is a book that I remember middle school me drawing the cover because I was so obsessed with it, but then never actually picking it up, which was Tunnels by Roger Gordon and Brian Williams. This cover, I was absolutely obsessed with it. I loved being in art class and trying to like figure out the lines and the shading and the light sources and all of those crazy things that you get in like a middle school art class. I wanted to read this book so bad, but then never picked it up. I think it may have been because I think the main character is a boy, and middle school me probably wouldn't have wanted a boy main character, but I still want to really read it. I need to see why I've been keeping it for this many years through that many unhaul sweeps. Like it's been on my shelves for this long. I need to find out why. Next is Finnegan of the Rock by Melina Marchetta. This was on my 24 books to read in 2024 last year, and I tried reading it. I got maybe like 20 or no, 50 pages in. Yeah, I got 50 pages in, and I ended up putting it down. But the problem was with this was that I didn't have an audiobook, so it was hard for me to get immersed enough in the story. Also, I think when I was reading this, I was in the process of moving states, like multiple states over, so it was really hard for me to want to stay attached to this in any way. I don't even remember anything that I read, and it was not even a year ago. So I don't know if this will be for me, but I'm willing to try it. Next is a book that I was a part of a books club in high school that our school library put on. And the way to prove that you read it was that you had to take like those AR tests so that you could be a part of the book club. Well, I was really close friends with the library aide, and she ended up just giving me the answers so that I didn't have to read it, because at the time I was reading so many other things that I just didn't have time for it. My reading speed was definitely not what it is now. And so I still own it, and I still haven't read it. So we'll see if I actually end up reading it. But it is Stitching Snow by R.C. Lewis. This is a like sci-fi Snow White retelling. Like I think it has like literally the first line is, her home planet, once known for lush landscapes, is now filled with violence, fear, and corruption at the hands of King Matthias and his new wife as they attempt to punish the princess's captors. So it's a sci-fi, like I said, sci-fi retelling of Snow White. I love Disney princesses retellings. I love a sci-fi book, so this should be for me. I don't know why high school me was just like, nope, I'm just not gonna try it. So I definitely need to pick it up. I'm gonna be honest with this next one. I literally only picked it up because it was a TV show, and then when I found out that it was a book first, I was like, okay, I gotta pick up the book so I can watch the show, and then haven't done either. So hopefully that means that if I read it and I enjoy it, then I'll actually watch the show, which is Cursed by Thomas Wheeler. Sorry, it's covered by the sticker. I had to look at the spine, but I know nothing about it. I just know it's about a girl who it's like that trope of the like chosen one, unassuming girl living in poverty type of prophecy, I think. That's all I know. That's literally the only thing I know. It's been literal years since this book has come out. So, and literal years since the TV show has come out. So I don't know anything. As you'll see is a common theme with most of the books that that I have in my collection. This next one has been on my shelves since I only had one shelf, which has been probably since high school. In the middle of me transitioning from high school to college is when I started to get more shelves. Um, so this has literally been unread on my shelves since I was in high school, and I'm gonna be turning 27 this year. I had to think about that. I'm gonna be turning 27 this year. So it's been almost a decade, and I have not picked up this book. So it is The Last Namsara by Kristen Cicerelli. Um, the back says the old stories drew dragons the way jewels drew men. No dragon could resist one told aloud, but the stories don't just lure dragons, they make them stronger. It has dragons? If I had known that, I would have picked it up a lot sooner. The second to last book here on my list is one that I picked up when I was obsessed with Alice in Wonderland retellings. I had read quite a few back in like my second year of college, and so I just was trying to collect as many as possible. This one is actually, I think my best friend told me to read it, but I am ashamed to say that I have not picked it up, which is Splintered by A.G. Howard. The only thing I know about it is that it's an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and that the cover is absolutely gorgeous. I love vines and the bugs and all that fun stuff. It says Alyssa Gardner hears the thoughts of plants and insects. She hides her delusions for now, but she knows her fate. She will end up like her mother in an institution. Madness has run in her family ever since her great great grandmother, Alice Little, told Lewis Carroll's her strange dreams, inspiring his classic Alice in Wonderland. But perhaps she's not mad, and perhaps Carroll's stories aren't as whimsical as they first seem. So I guess it's an imagining of a continuation of Alice in Wonderland, of where Alice's story ends up becoming in her grandchildren and or great great grandchildren, um, and where life would have taken her when she came back. So that's actually quite interesting. See what would happen if I actually picked up the like and looked at the back of the book and was excited about them. A concept. And last is a book that I don't even know why I own it because it's not even in a genre that I normally pick up. I don't know why I bought it. Probably bought it at a thrift store just because it was cheap and was like, sure, I'll try. But it's not even something that I enjoy reading. So who knows? But it is They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. From the cover, I can see that it's either like a thriller or horror, but I know it's YA, which kind of makes it even worse now that I'm an adult. So who knows? Oh, this list might just be a bunch of flops. This might bring down my average rating. It might be a bunch of DNFs. Who knows? If you have read any of these books, please let me know down in the comments so that I can feel better about whether or not you have read them or if I'm alone in this. And please let me know your thoughts on them so that you can convince me to read them faster. I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna do like maybe a quarterly reading vlog of trying to actually attempt to read these, or if I'm just gonna let fate take its course and if I read them, I read them. If not, they're coming off the shelf. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.